Welcome to another ReMode Make Pack video. Today we're making our pyjama bottoms. You'll need your pyjama bottoms pattern, a large piece of fabric for your trousers, a smaller piece of fabric for your waist tie, fabric scissors or sharp scissors, thread, dressmaker's pins, and a few safety pins. The first step is to cut your pattern pieces out and iron flat if necessary. Make sure to cut along the line of your chosen size. It might help to draw over it first with a felt tip to keep you right. Now lay your paper patterns onto your fabric as directed by the grain line on the pattern. Pin your pattern in place and cut everything out, being careful to mark any notches or pattern markings. It might help to pin a safety pin to the back leg pieces so that you can differentiate between them and the front pieces, as they do look quite similar. Now we'll start sewing. Set up your sewing machine to sew a medium length running stitch. Take one front and one back leg piece and pin the long outside edge with right sides together, making sure you're pinning a correct pair, i.e. both left legs. Sew these together, starting from the top of the waistband and using a 1 cm seam allowance. Continue down the leg until you reach the ankle. You may wish to overlock or zigzag this seam to help stop it from fraying. Then iron the seam flat and repeat this process for the other outside leg seam. Next, pin and sew your inside leg seam, matching notches and making sure you've pinned right sides together. Your trouser legs will be inside out at this stage. Again, you may wish to overlock or zigzag down this seam to help stop it from fraying. Iron the seam flat and repeat for the other leg. Now we'll move on to the crotch seam. Overlock or zigzag each crotch seam separately first. Leave one leg inside out and turn the other the right way round. Fit this leg inside the inside out leg and pin along the crotch seam with right sides together, matching your seams at the centre front and centre back and matching your notches. Sew this seam closed with a 1 cm seam allowance. Follow the curve of the crotch all the way round from the centre front to the centre back, but make sure to leave the top section of the centre front seam open from the notch up. You need to leave this open to make the channel for your waist tie. Iron this seam flat with your seam allowance open. Now we'll make the channel for our waist tie. To do this, turn the top edge of your trousers down towards the inside by 1 cm and give it a press with the iron. Then fold this edge down a further 2 cm, which will encase your raw edge inside the channel. Iron this down too and pin it to keep in place. Before sewing down your channel, fold your care label in half and insert it under the seam at the centre back. Then sew the channel closed by top stitching close to the bottom edge. You should now have a channel running the width of your waistband with an opening at the centre front. Now we'll sew the hems. Turn the hem up by 1 cm towards the inside of the trouser leg. Then turn this over a further 2 cm to trap your raw edge inside and press flat with the iron. Sew with the inside of the trousers facing up so you can see the turned edge. Top stitch your hem down, keeping the stitch quite close to the top of your turned down edge, in much the same way as you did for the waist tie channel. Now we'll make our waist tie. Take your 2 waist tie pieces and sew the short ends together using a 1 cm seam allowance. This will double the length. Now fold it in half lengthwise and sew close along the long edge using a 1 cm seam allowance. At the moment, your waist tie is inside out, so we need to turn it the right way round. To do this, attach a safety pin to one end and use it to feed this end through the inside of the belt until it reaches the other end. You should now be able to pull the rest of the tie along and out the other end. Once you've done that, iron it so it sits flat. Now use your safety pin again to feed the waist tie through the channel by pushing it through one of the open edges at the centre front, round the waistband and then out the other side. Once you've done this, double turn the ends of your waist tie and sew these down to stop them fraying. The extra bulk also helps stop the ties from disappearing inside your trousers through the opening at the centre front. You could do this by hand if it's a bit thick to fit under the foot of your sewing machine. Now you can even up the belt so that the middle of the belt is positioned at the centre back of your waistband. Hold this in place using a couple of long stitches back and forth on your sewing machine, or tacking by hand. And that's you done. I hope you've enjoyed yourself and learnt some new skills. Remember to take a picture of your finished PJs and tag us on social media. We'd love to see what you created.